here. So, have you ever thought of achievements? Any achievement or accomplishment is always outside. Wealth, relations, big home, recognition, dress, car, all are outside. And it is very clear to us that, oh, if I make an effort, I, I keep my desire, make an effort, and ultimately I get fatigued. That's a different matter, and I will be able to achieve if I keep the focus. But the challenge is that what is the nearest to us and we are not aware. The nearest to our self is the my real self, my own nature, and it appears yet so far. It appears so far. I have anxiety, I'm too far. I have duality, I'm too far. I have I have certain uh, discord and a conflict, I'm too far. And that is why consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection practice are required to reach to that state. And I told you before also that don't expect that you have started meditation for about a week and everyone at your home will say, oh, look at this spiritual guy, a saint. It will never happen. And don't expect this. Don't expect. But continue to apply these principles in your daily life. For example, you have a problem with your honey, and every time you reacted, but now you have learned the Eastern wisdom and you don't react. You maintain the coolness and the calmness. One time, two times. Especially with your relations, you have to do it 100 times. And if your honey is little bit aware, they will appreciate you. Otherwise, forget about it. And you need not to worry about it. Why I started this journey, I got a message uh, from a woman who has a beautiful daughter, around 10 or 11 years old daughter, where Dennis translates. So she said that I wanted to share with you my daily practice. I do it, and my daughter is always beside me. And I realized that while listening to your voice, my daughter started to sleep well when I meditate. It's not so important. What is important that you need to understand. So, and she is listening to your voice. Sometimes she joins me when we have online sessions. That is also not important. Now, see what happens. This woman was very much reactive to her own daughter. Normally, we get upset. Why do you like this? Why do you like this? So now she wrote, this is very important. That signifies a change. And she is my Buddha. She always motivates me to do the practice with the words, Mom, do you practice? Because you are more kind and patient to me after the practice. That is a remarkable change. I'm in stress, and you also come and you say, oh, how come you are in stress? And you also get into anxiety. So now from one people, there are two people. And from two, then there are 10 people. I loved her expression. Oh, she is my Buddha. You see, my perception has changed. She did not change, but she changed because I changed. And I can sleep well when I'm listening When I'm listening to you now and your guru. She says that this is the best gift that I get from the new year. Analyze this. Use the intellect. External versus internal. The first part highlights a common human pursuit. External achievements, wealth, possession, social status, while these things can bring temporary satisfaction, it doesn't mean that we should not do it. You have to do it because that spiritual consciousness is independent of material world. One thing. Second, I need physical survival. So for physical survival, I need to work. I need to earn. I need to manage my house and the clothes. It has to be done. Buddha did not do. You see that the wrong notion? Buddha left the palace. Palace is one name of a house. He built more than 1,000 big monasteries. It's a label. Monastery is also to live. We have to take out that pleasure-seeking ideas from the physical survival. And you are a spiritual person. Did you understand? The search for the real self, the passage, then, if you analyze these two examples, then we shift our focus to the internal journey. Now, because I'm not getting a pleasure, but yes, I'll go to the restroom, I'll eat from the kitchen, I'll lie down on the bed and sleep. I have a computer, everything is okay. But then your mind shifts inside. This resonates with the concept of all the spiritual traditions, the entire Eastern wisdom. And this is what happened to this women. And the role of the guidance. The daughter's encouragement, mom, do your practice. You are more patient and calm. Can you imagine 11 or 12 years old girl says to the mom, think of it. So the younger ones can judge, can understand, can easily become aware because their mind is not so much crazy as our mind is. They reflect instantly. No, mom, your first do meditation, you are more calm and relaxed. And she appreciated her daughter, and then she wrote to me. Now link this to our session of happiness and wisdom on 23rd. New Year we have started on 23rd. How to remove the anxiety, fears, pain points from our life. I said follow 8 steps. On 26th, happiness, why anxiety, fear, and foolishness, pain points. We have done it. Then the last session, how 8 steps are applied in daily living to remove the delusion and foolishness. Let us see how to think, speak, and act out of the 8 steps. Wisdom and happiness. Or you can say that how to apply these 8 steps to remove the attacks of the ignorance, delusion, and foolishness. The same mother used to get upset, used to react. Now she is taught by her daughter. But I also come in between. Or if you leave me, it is the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom comes in between. That is the importance of a regular practice. So if you summarize all the last 4 sessions, we were discussing about happiness and wisdom. and its significance in cultivating a fulfilling life. Learning to apply these 8 steps daily in personal, professional, and social life will definitely change you. Goal is the same, the self-discovery and the realization. So I have to cultivate my self-awareness by the same steps I have to overcome the limitations. What is that limitation? Just discuss in your mind the limitation between the mom and the daughter. Did daughter change? No. Did mom change? Yes. Her perception towards her daughter changes by the regular practice. And that perception takes you to a higher level of awareness and you overcome the limitations. Now you see that what she might have said many a times before, but now my mind is pure, reflective. It picked up the word and she sent an email. I look from that perspective. Why? Because we have to address the root of the suffering. The root of the suffering, identifying the root cause of the suffering. Delusion, foolishness, unaddressed pain points. Last week we discussed unaddressed leaky boat, unaddressed pain points. We don't address it. So when you recognize and address leaks in your life, unresolved issues in the negative habits, that is also a message in the 8 steps. So you break free from the cycle of procrastination and distraction. So once you have analyzed, now we have come to that interplay of happiness and wisdom. We have been talking about it. I renamed the series Happiness and Wisdom. A state of inner contentment and the joy, wisdom, the ability to discern what is true, lasting, and essential. So that is the basic part of the wisdom in Eastern wisdom. Happiness, I discussed, the happiness brings vitality to the wisdom, and the wisdom grounds and sustains your happiness. And you can easily answer now. So what she has written, it answers 3 and 4 vital questions in your life. Why is self-awareness crucial for personal growth? Oh, you can add in the modern term, there are many coaches, why the self-awareness is crucial for leadership and, and etc. You can add it. But let me focus here on personal growth. Self-awareness. I cannot recognize happiness from where it is coming, whether it is real happiness or not. I cannot discern. But why it happens, leaky boat. You have to think, you have to control. How can we overcome the tendency to avoid addressing our problems? Same answer, cultivating self-awareness, breaking free from the procrastination. I have to address my issues consciously. I have started wisdom. Where is the role of the wisdom in achieving true happiness? Wisdom provides the clarity, whether the happiness is coming from inside. Yesterday I was teaching and I said that can we define the happiness based on the modern science and principles and concept? Just think, what is that? Concept is that, oh, my memory says that I like pasta. Now I'm in a dining table. I see the pasta is there. So it gives a stimuli to the brain. It releases the dopamine that gives me the pleasure. That is the explanation. Very small explanations. Christina knows better. There's a little explanation of the happiness. Memory inside. I see it. I like it. And if I dislike it, there is another stimuli. So instead of dopamine, there is a stress hormone. That is how we understand. But it is a brain activity. Really? It is a brain activity? Oh, yes. But the science says the brain is a gray matter. Yes, they say gray matter. Gray matter means non-living entity. How I recognize happiness and wisdom? Without consciousness, I cannot recognize. So which is more important? Self-awareness, cultivating self-awareness is more important, or you stimulate? Think. How can we cultivate both happiness and wisdom in our lives? Well, again, I've been telling you, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, practice, etc., etc., etc. Now, what should be the reflective questions in your life that will help you progress, like this women? Observe my thoughts and feelings throughout the day. I should be aware. My son is upset, so or should I also get into anxiety? That is a common way to life. We say that. Instead of empathy, we have sympathy. But why we have sympathy? Because I lack wisdom. I lack wisdom. I have to challenge my assumptions. So once I how to challenge those assumptions? Follow the 8 steps. Simple. What are the leaks? Can you reflect on what are the leaks in your life? Or if I say metaphorically, what are the leaks in your own boat that you need to address? Boat is the life. Identity, recurring anxiety. I identify with the recurring anxieties or fears. I recognize the negative habits. I feel it belongs to me. It may be a procrastination, it may be unhealthy eating habits, it may be excessive social media, or you find out. I have to assess my relationship. Think, think, think. Our master says, think. Focus on intrinsic source of happiness. What to focus and how? You simply think. Happiness is within me, and the wisdom is also within me. Is it difficult? It will change your perception. Engage in activities that bring you meaning and fulfillment. Let go of the need of external validation. This woman is a beautiful daughter. So that daughter used to call me at her home nearby for a session only when her husband is absent. I said, that's a big problem because I go there and she, in her mind, that is the problem. So now she has a lot of anxiety, and now her mother seeks the validation of every action. She is now retired. Every action from her daughter. Seek validation from the person who has a wisdom. Why you are seeking a validation? Why we seek it validation? Because recurring anxiety, habit, impulsive nature, I have to get rid of it. If I don't get rid of it, forget about that awakening and realization. So now see that how my topic is that how we think, principal concept. Happiness and wisdom are interdependent. Pleasure and ignorance are also interdependent. Did you understand? Yes, I know that you understand. Pleasure and ignorance are also, or delusion, you can say, they are also interdependent. You are into anxiety, I am also into anxiety. I got a wonderful guy who's already 16 years of age, living in the Midwest. So his father approached me and he said that, he says, I'm not going to the school, I will not do anything. And he just keeps sleeping and lying down on the bed. And he perceives a lot of vision and colors and lights. And he says, no, I have to do nothing. So yesterday was my first session. I said, I want you to be sure that you do nothing. And I support you. Is sleeping not doing anything? Is going to the washroom not doing anything? You have not gone to the washroom for the last 3 months? No. Oh, okay. You're talking to me. Is it also not doing anything? Why I brought this? That because of my impulsive nature, habit, and I have programmed my mind. I'm talking about the leaky boat. My response, my reaction, my anxiety manifest. I have to get rid of it. Happiness alone is not enough. Over dependence on the external factors, pleasure. Pleasure leads to ignorance or delusion, you can say. Short term indulgence lacks the depth in the purpose. That is what the science explains. I'm not criticizing, I'm just comparing. It's a critical evaluation. They talk of the self fulfillment, but again, based on dopamine and what is that? Brain activity. So I have to react to the stimuli, impulsiveness, ignorance. Why wisdom alone is not enough. Lacks emotional warmth and connection. I have discussed that. Happiness vitalizes the wisdom. Wisdom grounds your happiness. Wisdom, you're happy inside. That is why, I have been saying that, people say, are you excited? Why should I be excited? I am calm. I'm happy inside. Where is the problem? Why should I be excited? Excitement means dopamine. Do you see that? That is the way our masters have explained. I have to integrate both. If I don't integrate both, then I will have a problem. I'll have a problem. Now think of 8 steps. In light of the happiness, wisdom, in light of the pleasure and ignorance, I said they are interdependent, pleasure and ignorance or delusion, whatever you say, or lack of wisdom are interdependent. Now reflect on this. Oh, this dear guy told me study Eastern wisdom to understand oneself. Why to study every day? Why to listen and learn? Your mind becomes clear. Your mind will replace those thoughts of leaky boats than the thoughts of wisdom. Second, now once I understand, now my thought process has changed. Now I'm ready to act. That is what happened to this woman and her relationship with the daughter. She kept listening. She reflected on it. So instead of anxiety and a reaction, her perception towards the daughter has changed. So she acted with the wisdom, applied the principles to get rid of the attachment is the second step. Third, identify and fulfill your responsibilities. Simple. That means that I I don't own any action. The moment I complete my session, I'm done with it. I'm finished. I don't own that I'm the speaker or the teacher or the coach. Leave that. Because that gives a sense of false I. With such a hard work, I had $10 million. Keep on doing the hard work, and if the dollars are not there in the world, how can you get this? We are interdependent. Did you understand? There is no dollar outside. Now there is already a war in between the US and other countries whether the dollar will stay as a main currency or not. So this is the wisdom, happiness and wisdom. You see that let me see that. If the dollar is not there, if opportunity is not there, if the condition is not there, if my intellect did not prepare the project for a particular business, how can I earn? So my contribution is 1% out of 100%. Identify and fulfill true responsibility. If you are not there from home to speak, should I speak to this computer? That brings your mind down. It makes you humble because you have given a reason, right reason for it. If employees are not there, how can you have an organization? That is the message. Can you imagine that these masters have taught 5,000 years ago, which is easily applicable in the modern world? Give up the desire prompted activities. I discussed about it. Obsessed, huh? Desire obsessed or pleasure obsessed. Pleasures, pleasure. What I used it something somewhere. Desire prompted activities means that pleasure and happiness is outside. So we are getting rid of that principle of modern science that brain stimuli is outside. It releases the chemical that is the dopamine. Where the consciousness is there, who recognizes it? Does the dopamine recognizes that I have it? So we understand. It makes our concept clear. And so the third one, then what happens? I have to keep constantly recognize the defects in the worldly pleasure, not in the world, but where my mind prompts me to get the pleasure in relationship, in food, in dress, in lot of activities. I have to desire. I've just become aware and enjoy that. Have that pleasure. I told you this women host a party every Christmas, but she goes into extreme stress and anxiety. How to host? I said, don't host it. You're celebrating Christmas. What the heck you're doing? Find out we do it like this or not. So strengthen the mind to constantly, yes, yes. In India also, so we have a celebration of Diwali. Oh, my sister, what gift I should give. If I don't give the gift, then she will be or he will be upset. Unnecessary things. What principle comes? Apply the principles to get rid of this attachment. Use the wisdom. Strengthen the mind to constantly look for the real self. We have done the sixth step is the desire for the real self. Once the desires for seeking the pleasure from the mind comes down, minimizes, reduced, then only the mind can have a desire for the real self. Our friend has not been attending the session. Leave home, the last step. Leave home. What is leave home? How can I leave home? I love my honey, I love my daughters, I love my grandchildren, I love my home. No, this is not. Leave home means leave the home of delusion. Leave the duo. Pleasure and ignorance, they are interdependent. And the life will change completely. Life will change completely. It has to change. It will bring a transformation in you. That transformation means the rise in consciousness. The rise in consciousness that you are approaching near to the real self. From the beginning, I discussed about it. All achievements are outside. Now I come to the real self. You all share reflections. Yeah, someone shared that anxiety arises from the overthinking and the risk. Happiness and the wisdom are complementary. And so now you start realizing that you are not upset with any situation at your home or outside, in your relations or in personal, professional, social, and the family life. You are maintaining a status quo of calmness. You see that the life is going to change completely. We will discuss little deeper that how 8 steps helps seekers to think, speak, and act in happiness and wisdom. Our goal is still the 40 steps. So how we think and speak and act in our daily life through 8 steps in peace and in happiness and wisdom. That we will take up in our next session. During the next session, somebody will give their story so I can narrate. These are all real life stories. Eyes are closed and eyes are closed. Place of the body. Not place of my body. Forget about it. Place of your body. Why? Because your mind, you're turning the mind where? Inside you. Oh, yes. I'm turning the mind inside me. Yes, yes, yes. And the position and the posture, you allow the knowledge to take over. And being comfortable. Now the mind goes little deeper. It starts looking. You are aware. You know what happens if you are not applying the wisdom? Wisdom is applied through self-awareness. If you are not aware, how can you apply? Then your mind is and then being comfortable, one aspect of the understanding that you said bye-bye. I gave a very simple example. Consciously open the main door of your house Consciously means I have left the entire world outside, including the neighbors. I enter, close the door, I'm inside. That is being comfortable. Being carefree, separation. That this home and the world outside both are separate from me. That bring all the thoughts. So when I say the thoughts are separate from you, you have to recognize, even at the physical entity, physical level. Very good. Oh, very good. And now what happens in that state? Now we go a little deeper. Look at the breath awareness. Breath awareness, I discussed about the breath awareness also. Use the wisdom again. Why? Ask yourself why we focus on the breath, or you are aware of the moving breath. Why? Answer is so simple, and we overlook it. When you overlook it, you take it for granted. You miss it. Then you try to focus on the breath. Then you try to change the breath. Then you are already into anxiety. Then there is a leaky boat. What do you mean by it? You cannot be aware of the breath in the past or in the future. You can always be aware of the breath in the present moment. What it means? Oh, it simply means you are bringing the mind again and again to the present moment, but without making any effort. The moment you are making an effort, you are projecting into the future. But then, we will take it deeper. So I need to be aware of the flow of the breath. With that flow of the breath in the present moment, you look at the first neighbor. What do you find? It is constantly changing. Where it's changing is not me. Mind, you need not to focus there. You cannot focus because it is changing. Second neighbor. Do you remember physical body? Can you recognize that I cannot focus on the same body? You cannot step into the same river. I'm saying you cannot. You look at it, you cannot step into the same river. That makes the thing clear. Third neighbor, energy. It's already moving. It means it is changing. Whatever is moving is changing. I must continue to breathe like this since birth until. Is it possible? Fear of death is gone. Not possible. What is changing? Fourth neighbor, mind, pain, pleasure, duality. Oh, the mind is also keeps on changing. I want peace, it gives me anxiety. Lack of wisdom. Fifth neighbor, the intellect, and the false I organizes all these activities of my ignorance, duality, conflict, and reaction. How do I recognize? Because I'm living in the present. I'm still aware of the flow of the breath. It gives you a totally a new and a higher level of awareness. And the sixth neighbor is the ignorance, causal body. No, I have recognized it, I have understood it, so I want to go where? To the real self. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. The pleasure seeking desires outside in the world with reference to the false I makes me feel I'm incomplete. That results into ignorance, delusion, results into anxiety, reaction. You create an equation like this in your head. And once that equation is clear, you are happy, you are clear. You're instantly out of that reaction anxiety. It becomes 2 plus 2 is 4. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be grace and the blessing. Is there? Yes, it is always there. How do I recognize it when the mind is pure? What do you mean by mind is pure? Ignorance and pleasure. Leaky boat is treated completely. What happens? The mind continues to live within. Even then, you look inside the forehead with Om Shanti dropping deep inside into the space. Did you ever reflect on it? What I always repeat it. We will talk in detail about it. I'm asking you to drop the Om Shanti into that space. Continue. And at the same time, you start breathing into the belly, long, deep in the hissing breath. Both inhalation and exhalation is equal. Long, deep, and hissing breath. And you moved your body. You missed the point. You see that. Who moved the body? Not you, I know. You are committed, not your mind fully. So that is the problem. In the beginning, we need to understand this. And gradually, even if the body moves, it doesn't make any difference to us. So long, deep in the hissing breath. And I gave you the indication of the long, deep in the hissing breath is that your belly expands like a balloon and contracts so much so that it touches the spine. The belly button touches the spine. It means that it's a metaphor that you have to do a long, deep and hissing breath, both inhalation and exhalation. Long, deep in the hissing breath. Why sometimes I point out that you moved your body and you are missing the point so that you raise your level of awareness. When you raise your level of awareness, my friend, during the practice, it will definitely, it will be definitely helping you. It will be definitely helping you. Continue. 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 And that will Hello, continue. Your mind, if it is the mind follows the leaky boat, it will won't allow you to do the practice. It will create lot of thoughts which will oppose the step in the practice. You will start feeling sleepy, you will have a yawning, but it won't allow you to complete the practice. Can you persist? Can you continue? It will work. Instead, you have an endurance, I said, and that endurance plays a significant role. Even simply the intellect thinks, let me have the endurance. Then the mind changes its perception. It says, oh, there is a joy of doing, I can continue doing it. But if the mind keeps the thought, feeling, and emotion of a leaky boat, same example, you have a lot of visiting, you will stop it, you will feeling sleepy, you will be yawning, and lot of other stuff will take over your mind. Continue. Long, deep, and the hissing breath into the belly. Om Shanti continues in the state of comfort and steadiness. What we have discussed together, we are trying to achieve the same thing. And now leave this. Bring your awareness on the flow of the breath. Watch if the flow of the breath is equal, rhythmic. You may have variety of experiences, maybe tingling, freezing of the body, numbness, visions, colors. They all indicate the mind is going within, but we need not to stop there. 100% mind is not making an effort towards the body. That is the meaning of the stillness. Body doesn't move by itself. Impulsive movement, it's that is accepted, but there are no impulsive movement. but anything that is impulsive, which is extremely necessary, will take place. Sometimes people have, we did it almost 8 minutes today. So sometimes people have, they start throwing their legs and the arms and the head. Sometimes they start crying. That is okay. Now, in that flow of the breath, with that experience, you look at the breath. Flow of the breath continues, which means that you are checking the mind is living in the present moment. And with that present moment, in the present moment, you start dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of fingers. What it means, the mind. What it means, the mind lives in the present moment, and in the present moment, it can act. Om Shanti on the 16 segments of fingers, but it only happens when the faculty of the senses are within the mind. They are always within the mind, but I'm recognizing it. I'm aware of it. Are you absorbed, or your mind is waiting for me to conclude? You have to reflect on it. Now is the time to leave this and take your mind deep inside the heart and visualize the triangle of any color. Move the mind with Om Shanti. Once there is a clarity, you're able to move your mind, indicating sync clockwise and anti-clockwise. That is the right time to push the mind inside, singing Om mentally but loudly. And being aware, mind seems to stop means what? Infinite space all around. that is the time you say Shanti and stop everything. You're not doing anything at all. Self absorption. I have yet to talk in detail about this. What is this self absorption? In the following sessions. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the session. Interesting thing you said today that triggered some kind of. I believe there's an echo. Can you do something. Fix it.
There is a echo. Now? Hello.
Yeah, let me try now. No, it is still there.
Ah, so it means now it will not be there. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I said that some contemplation triggered one thing that you said, that we cannot really focus on something that is changing. Um, does that mean that the only thing we can focus on is the real self? Or do
Yes.
you, so when we are talking about the natural focus, which is basically the same as awareness, then it means that this natural focus awareness is only possible when we are aware of or focused on the real self.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can just understand in that way there is a subjective reality and there is an objective reality. I know you. Now this false I has taken over. First I am and then you. So the first step is to look there, that who is this I? Is I sense organ? No. Is I mind? No. Is there is an awareness? Who is aware of this thought process I thought? So the entire journey is to recognize that subjective entity, and that subjective entity is only one, and that is the real self. Does that make a sense?
Yes, and it brings another question: as is this the reason why we are talking so much about focusing, whether it is natural or because ultimately it is the way to know this single entity, this real self, by the means of focusing our awareness.
Yes, yes. Because the masters, perhaps in my understanding, I have only read about 300 to 400 texts out of 3,000. So, based on my simple understanding, that they have not left any area, any discussion, any question where the mind can move to the objective reality. And then every master has its own way of talking about this, discussing about this, developing a principle, and ultimately guiding. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
My practice was very focused and a lot of awareness there and a lot of sensations after the breathing, and also an understanding and awareness that these sensations are not me. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We will, when we say realize the real self, the way I experience you, I experience that real self. Realization. We'll talk about it. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Love the lesson. For me, the lesson is this: finding this balance between happiness and wisdom in our life, our daily life, to make them both balance each other out. Happiness wants chocolate cake. Wisdom says don't have too much. That you find this nice balance, and I think that that's going to be something I'll take away and continue working on. As far as meditation, very, very deep. I can't believe that was 8 minutes, that breathing. It seemed like 30 seconds. So thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now I'm just keeping one more statement with reference to what David has just shared and what the Dentist is talking about. I remember what my master used to say, that you continue to search and discover the happiness, what will happen in the ultimate? You recognize you are the happiness, and that is the real self. That is another explanation. You are the happiness, you are the wisdom, subjective reality. Think. So we are approaching our real self through various means. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. That was a very deep meditation. The separation of everything that we're not was drilled in to all those things being very far away, like a very distinct separation and knowing. And then that ended up being this timeless awareness where there was nothing that needed to be done.
Yes. You see, this is another. Again, Dennis, take up that contemplate and reflect in David. Separated everything. What is separated? You're dissolving the mind, basically. You're dropping the mind, basically, which creates an objective reality. So what happens? Buddha says no mind state. What is no mind state? Awakening. They have done everything possible. You cannot do anything more. If someone says that I developed this is my meditation practice, they are crazy. With due respect, they are also teachers. So how are you, Samir?
Sir, I think if we keep on doing the meditation, we check the potential of the players, what we can get out of the player, what is the potential of the player, what it can give me, and where I will reach after going into all these kind of players, and what I will get when I do meditation. So when as you lead a life of comparing both these things, then you automatically go towards the meditation. Means your mind, your thinking, your intellect takes you towards that. You don't have to, but your own experience take you towards it, drives you towards that. uh,
Yeah,
Means peace or means whatever. Means you come to
yeah,
know about it that this is the right way and this is the wrong way, and I have to
yes.
go to the right way. That is it.
It is the same thing, but when the master discusses, he discusses another principle. He says, do you know what is discernment? Yes, I know it is separation. So what to separate from one thing to the other? Oh yeah, two things have to be separated. So it starts with sesame seed and the rice. There is a specific Sanskrit word. Did you separate? How did you separate? Properties of the sesame seed, color, texture, size is different from the rice. That is well how it's separated. Now it starts with that metaphor, but it is not the reality. So what happens when I separate the false I from the real I recognize the false I does not exist. What that he's talking about, the pleasure, seeking, that does not exist at all. What exists is the inner happiness. And I'm of the nature of happiness. Dennis? I'm just giving you another perspective. That is how our masters have guided us. Great inspirations. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good. Thank you for the lesson and the meditation. I always appreciate that practical application of the lesson, like the woman with the Christmas party, and it's like, if it's going to stress you out, don't have it. And also like the thing with work, when you're in your role at work, you're there, and then, when you're not, you're not. And so those are some really like practical ways I can apply to the concepts. But and also my meditation, like David, I couldn't believe that was 8 minutes. It felt like 1 minute for the breathing. This is super deep.
Beautiful sharing. Now you see that the Brandy has focused on the second step, Oh, let me do the work and finish it. I'll complete this session and then I will look at the mind. Mind, you're clear. Yes, you're clear. Mind is not clear. Why? How? Oh, did I teach everything right? Did I miss anything? You had missed something, it will remain missed. You cannot retrieve it. Can you live into that present moment? Again, I'm giving another principle. But in the beginning, we have to follow, we have to intellectually understand, we have to apply the wisdom, and then it will work. Definitely it will work. How are you, Barbara?
I am good, thank you. The breathing for me, and I too could not believe that it was 8 minutes. I mean, I could have gone on. It was actually enjoyable. The meditation was so deep today that when you started chanting, I was startled.
Good. Good. It was a complete self-absorption. And you see that, many of you, majority of you find 8 minutes is so easy to do it. We are going to reach at 9 minutes, I told you. 9 minutes, 3 types of breathing. 27 minutes. We will do that. Beautiful. That is another way. This is what we say a typical yoga way. What is the typical yoga way? Yes, teacher says do this practice, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, do this chanting, and ultimately you are absorbed. Yes, that is also good. Not too much of intellectual discussion, but masters knows what is the knowledge is located behind it. Beautifully said. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. I was also very surprised that we did 8 minutes. I felt like it could have gone on for a very long time. And I'm getting this sense almost like I'm really coming to know my real self and that I've been living life sort of upside down. And I just feel this greater space between sensing the real self and everything else external.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. I've been breathing since for the last 66 years. So as per your age, you have been breathing. What about 8 or 9 minutes, There is only a little change. In emergency, we breathe like this. But to recognize this, that I can't feel that, I can't believe that I have done it 8 minutes. That helps the mind. That builds the endurance. We should think in that way. That is the right approach. So we are left with 2 people. How are you, Ashok, sir?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, good. Peace and calm. शुरू में थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम थी आई मीन शुरू में थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम क्या मतलब शुरू में थोड़ा एडजस्टमेंट करना पड़ता है पर बाद में ठीक है इट्स ओके
10-15 साल और एडजस्टमेंट में लगेंगे He is saying, it took me a couple of minutes to adjust and then align with the practice. So I answered that, yes, another 10-15 years it will take to align and adjust. No, it's out of a joke. Nothing to criticize him. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर प्रैक्टिस बहुत पीसफुल थी और सर जैसे वो छोटी बच्ची को उसकी मदर का चेंज लगा तो वो तो हम सब में चेंज आता है मेडिटेशन के बाद पीसफुलनेस है तो वो तो चेंज है ही वो तो आता ही
Yes, that's good. Like Brownie, she also referred to that daughter in the women. She used to attend the session, Dennis, where you translate. I'm talking about that woman. So she sent an email. So remember that. Apply this happiness and the wisdom, these simple principles into your life, and then we will meet in our next lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.